Voltaire said, "Every man is a creature of the age in which he lives, and few are able to raise themselves above the ideas of the time." Plato said, "Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something." George Bernard Shaw thought that the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. This is Whiskey Hell. Think critically. Act accordingly.
Saturday, September 21st, 7:51 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell Podcast, your news show. Fitz, we made it through another week. We're not going to talk a lot about politics tonight, though. This was kind of a refreshing week.
Yeah. Refreshing in the way that, a pager blowing your leg off is refreshing.
True.
But no, you're right. You're right. I never thought I would do so much research into plastic explosives, but you're right. We don't have to. Here we are, and we don't have to talk about politics. At least not much tonight. I think some events superseded politics. I think we should put it that way, because there's certainly still some politicking and some tomfuckery going about in politics right now. But right now, this week and on this show, we're gonna let that take a back seat to some of the other wild stuff that happened.
Well, I think we're going to be able to tie it back into some of this stuff, because while we don't have the politics necessarily right up front in some of these stuff, some of the stuff that happened this week, we could tie it together, right? Because we're going to talk about P. Diddy and a whole bunch of baby oil, and Kamala used to run in those circles.
Yes, she did.
And the Obamas.
And yes, they did. And in addition, Kamala was the attorney general, the AG, when this original case got brought up, and she buried it. And there is a lot of people out there doing a lot of fast research right now, trying to find actual receipts and proof that she buried it. But it's looking not great for Kamala Ding Dong.
Yes, we did have another assassination attempt, right? That was very, very strange. We'll talk about that a little bit, because right after the assassination attempt happened, P. Diddy went to jail.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get into some really fun stuff tonight. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be explosive. It's gonna be. We're gonna get into some DNA hacking too.
Oh, right.
Which
yeah,
was,
the 23andMe stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to sound racist. Okay. Can we? I know nothing ever good comes after someone says that, but so P. Diddy's in jail, in prison.
Correct.
I kind of feel like the skinheads and the white guys, he'd be with them more than he would be with the brothers or the Latinos.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think the darker folks would claim him. I don't think they'd want him. In fact, I think they're sharpening toothbrushes right now.
I would think so. And all reports are that Diddy is not suicidal. So let's get that out there right now.
That's paramount.
Apparently he's not suicidal. We're not sure if Hillary has made a visit yet. My understanding is that she wanted to choke him, but he likes that kind of stuff, so that's off the table. I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting time.
I agree. We keep saying this, but it's a hell of a time to be alive, man.
It is a hell of a time to be alive, and it just won't quit.
No, no, it won't. Which is great content for this show, but Jesus.
I just keep waiting when we can start doing our own like Harper's Magazine, and just talk about um, fruit trees and planting and make this just a complete and total farm show. Um,
Well,
you know,
I mean,
just
judging by the popularity of Hefe's farm report every week, I feel like people would rather hear that than about all the crazy stuff going on.
I think that's absolutely true. We are starting a little bit later tonight. Hefe's breaks are kind of off, so we do expect to see him right around 8:30 here. So probably about a half an hour, and then we'll see if we're hoping we can get him for a second visit. So, but with that, Fitz, what are you drinking?
Well, we know the brewery. The brewery is Spider City Brewing, which is from down in Chico, California, a a place of very little renowned, and but in all fairness, Chico is very strong farming community there, and a lot of farms, and kind of a sizable little town down there. So they've got their own brewery. They've got a few, and this is one of them. I'm not sure where Spider City comes from. I kind of feel like I need to do some research on that because I can imagine there's probably a lot of spiders down there in Chico. I don't know. Anyway, this one poured kind of a dark, deep yellow. Uh, Nice thick head. Definitely has a strong hops smell to it. So I'm thinking we're in the IPA neighborhood. Although these guys do a lot of stuff with like some farmhouse ales and some other pilsners and stuff like that. So we could literally be anywhere on the light beer map here. So let's see what we got.
So you said it poured dark. I
Well,
wonder
no,
if
no, no. I
it's
said it poured dark yellow.
oh, dark yellow. Okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Not. It's not a stout or a porter.
I was
Hmm.
hoping in like an IPA, like a dark IPA or something. That would have been fun. But
Oh, yeah. No. Oh, God, this one's going to be tough to nail because just right there, what you have on the screen, that's what, 9 different IPAs.
yeah.
um. mm.
Citrus, malt,
Um.
tropical. What do you have there?
Citrus. There's
Okay.
something else going on here though that I can't. This could be their Brett IPA because it's got a there's a wildness to it,
Okay, that would make sense.
but I could definitely be way off on that. Let's do the reveal because I could. So I'll say this right off the bat before I even reveal the beer. Um, Really pleasing beer. I'll be honest, I wasn't in the mood for an IPA tonight. But I'm like 3 sips in, and it's very pleasing. I like it. So
Cool.
whatever it is, it's solid offering. All right, this is their Grazing Goat West Coast IPA. So we had the style correct. It's a 6.2 percenter. And oh, okay. Well, here we go. 3 college friends from Chico State decided to start a brewery because of their love of beer, and the rest is history. Okay, it doesn't tell me anything about spiders, fuckers. Anyway, again, not to sound racist, but this is from Spider City, and this is their Grazing Goat West Coast IPA, which I now know why my wife chose this particular beer because she is to say she's obsessed with goats would be an understatement. She
Okay.
loves goats. Videos of goats, pictures of goats, goats in trees, goats ramming each other, goats ramming dogs, goats ramming people, goats.
Goats, more
Um,
goats.
and now goats on beer.
Well,
So
Spider
anyway,
City. Let's see here. It is where was it? Three friends put down roots in downtown Bend 16 years ago, knowing Bend was a great place to live and a hotbed for craft breweries. Their garage, named Spider City, spawned the decision to open their own brewery, with initially brewing in Spider City in the hot summer months. With fun times
aha.
and high spirits in the story, or sorry, spirits, the story behind the name Spider City Brewing was launched. So there you go.
Okay, so
Uh,
they're not from Chico. They are from Bend. I didn't know. I see the we've talked about it before. The the Bend brewing community is highly competitive, and so there's and there can only be so many. I think it's 28 is the number. So once one folds, another one pops up in its place, like literally that same week. And so these guys, I don't know how long they've been around. I'm not really familiar with them, but anyway.
Well, they're women brewers too, which is awesome. I don't think we've had
hello, ladies,
a female brewer on here that hasn't been like a really solid beer. So that's awesome.
That's true.
That's true. Got that going. They got a good logo too.
Yeah, it is cool. I like it, and I wonder why. Well, I could see a garage being named Spider City. If you got a lot of spiders in a garage, that's, I could see that.
Yep.
What do you got?
All right. I have a new brewer here. Well, new to me. We'll just put it that way. Have not seen it out here before. This is, let's see here. It's from Off Color Brewing. They are from, let's see here, Chicago, Illinois. It looks like. So they're up in they're up in
Aaron's way.
Aaron's stomping grounds. This one is a peach cream ale, and if this goes well, I'm hoping this turns into my side bitch too. So I have it poured. It pours just a very golden Pilsner looking. I mean, it looks like a Bud Light, but it does have a little bit of a head on it too. Smells good. Fruit on the nose. Definitely have some peach to it. If I had to guess, it's going to be a mouth-watering beer. So I'm excited for this one. This is called Beer for Hoops, by the way.
It looks like Aaron is trying to distance himself from being affiliated with or around Chicago. So we didn't. No offense, Aaron. No offense intended. Just it's up in your neck of the woods, which Chicago is. And I'm not saying we're not saying you belong to Chicago or none of that. We're just saying. It's up near you.
Well,
sorry.
You know how we can call out when a brewer uses extracts?
Uh-oh. Guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Don't do it.
Yep.
It never works out well. Not for us and not for you.
Nope.
Because now we have to talk shit about you.
Yep. 2-row flacked barley, caramel malt, dextrin malt, flaked oats, nugget hops, grungist hops, lotus hops, peach puree, vanilla extract. I will not be taking this one to bed.
No, because you're. Look, I got nothing against wigs, but I also would like to know what you truly look like. It's a hard thing when you take a girl home and she takes her wig off and she's completely bald under there or whatever,
I saw a woman who was completely bald the other day when I was at my local bar, and I still don't find it attractive at all. And she had a rockin' body. Other than that, I'm like, no.
I have a like a sort of a. I'm not even going to say fantasy, but I totally would like Sinead O'Connor or oh God, who pulled it off just beautifully was God damn it,
V for Vendetta.
Yes, V for Vendetta. Yeah, why can't I think of her? Natalie Portman. God damn, yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh, that one pulled all the way from the back of my brain. That hurt. Yeah, I thought. She was, she's. It has to be. Nobody wants the 5'3", 275-pound linebacking, bald-headed woman coming at you because now you're in trouble. But when you have that super, thin, I think you have to have kind of delicate features, thin neck, just sort of that really petite look to you. Now, I'm not saying you have to be. A size 0. I'm just saying you have that sort of proportioned athletic look. I think you can pull off the bald head. That's just me.
Maybe.
That's just me.
That's and I respect that. I totally do. I just can't get there. I just cannot get there. And that's okay. That's differences make us who we are.
To each his own. On the flip side of that, I also can't do super long hair either. Like when it's down to their feet or whatever. That's a no-go for me. Because you can braid that, you can try and put it away somehow, but it's going to end up in your mouth at some point in the night.
Or strangle you.
You're going to have some of that. Yeah, or strangle you. Yeah, it's going to be wrapped around. Never mind. It doesn't matter. But long hair is also out.
Exploding pagers was not on the list this week. Or in our...
it wasn't on the bingo card.
It wasn't on the bingo card. I don't know how we would have known that. But we woke up on the 18th. Let's see, that was Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah. Wednesday, and there was just video after video after video of people's pants exploding. And it was the strangest thing.
Yeah.
And then reports came out that it was actually pagers that had a little bit of, I'm not going to say plastique. I think it was something else.
I've done a deep dive.
You've got the deep dive? Okay.
We'll get to the Pemtex, but yeah.
Oh, it was Pentex. Okay. Well, okay. So you've got pagers, and for everybody who's out there who's over, let's see, 30 years old probably, or under 30 years old, I should say. Pagers were this little device that was the precursor to the cell phone. And it was basically a radio that when a signal was sent to it via the telephone, okay, you had a phone number that was connected to it, it would set off the pager. Everybody had it. Everybody had one, okay? Back in our day. We didn't have cell phones. If there was somebody who did have a cell phone, nobody could actually afford it, so everybody
they
were
giant bricks, too. You didn't carry them with you. They were something that was in your car.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you had to have a huge antenna on the top of your car. So it was nice to you could spell out boobs on the pager, and it was funny. It was a joke that we all had. Anyway, so you had these pagers. The Hezbollah decided to go back to the 80s to try and circumvent Israel's ability to track them, because they found out that the Israeli intelligence was tracking cell phone usage. So they could triangulate where Hezbollah members were. And it hasn't been said yet, it's probably was what led to a lot of attacks on a lot of the Hezbollah higher-ups that have been taken out in the last few months. Right. So on the morning of the 18th, people's pants just started exploding. And it was 27, let's see, it was like 2,750, I think. They're calling them citizens, but if you had one, you were part of the Hezbollah.
Right. That was the part of this that seemed a little, a bit of a gamble. And I, if you take the thought far enough, well, okay, let me explain my point here. Apparently these pagers were made by a specific manufacturer in Taiwan.
Yep.
The story is right now that the Mossad, Israeli intelligence, intercepted the shipment of pagers, knowing that they were coming that Hezbollah had ordered them. They intercepted the shipment of pagers, threw in some Semtex, and put them back together, and then let the delivery go on as it was, and then they detonated them on Wednesday. The gamble here is that, you could have a Hezbollah member who was buying a pager for his fucking daughter. You could have a Hezbollah member who was buying a pager for his grandma. To me, that's either a huge gamble that the Mossad was willing to take, or they truly just see these people as animals and they don't care. They didn't care who they blew up that day. Because there are reports of women and children who got hurt too. And, you got the collateral damage too. I mean, people standing too close to the guy that got blown up.
Oh, sure.
The stampedes that started. Two people got trampled to death. Because of the chaos, the scariness. So I don't know. If you go to the deep, dark, basements of what this is, Israel just truly doesn't give a fuck who you are. Look, if you're in this part of the world, you're an animal to them, and they'll slaughter you like a fucking Red Bull. Crazy.
But and I'm not going to overly romanticize this. That's not my goal. But you have to you have to be a little amazed.
Yeah.
I almost admire the precision.
Yeah.
I mean, this was if there's going to be casualties, that's always going to happen. Would you rather have a rocket attack like this or missiles where you've got tons of collateral damage, or would you rather have something like this where you've got a really good shot at making sure that, the terrorists are actually going to have the device on them? It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it is. And listen, Aaron's, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, that is Aaron. Aaron, your point that, coyotes don't breed with sheep. And so, if you have coyotes breeding with coyotes and you shoot towards the coyote family, you're going to hit a coyote. I get that. I understand. I also work with children, and I know that shit's taught, and that every kid's got a chance to be an innocent, like, amazing member of society. And so when you have collateral damage, when you're willing to just willy-nilly set off a pager that might be sitting next to a child, I'm not here to debate the military significance of that, or even McShane to counter what you're saying, because it is amazing and there is a high level of precision here. All I'm saying is you've crossed a line now. You are now okay with some level of indiscriminate killing, which you have to be to fire a missile into a hospital as well. So I get that. I'm just saying this one was like, okay, they were willing. This is important enough. They were willing to take that gamble. And listen, they may have just, like, Hezbollah right now at the top reaches of their, I guess I don't want to call it military structure, but at the top levels of their decision makers, they have to be going, holy shit, how are we going to communicate with one another now? We can't do it through cell phones. We can't do it through pagers, because that's too big of a risk. They're going to start with smoke signals again. You're going to have to go way back.
Well, they're going to have plenty of smoking craters to go ahead and do that from.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
I don't know. You do have a point. Yes, it does cross a line. Is it a line that's worse than, kamikaze bombers in a marketplace? I mean,
right.
That's something that's been happening for years upon years upon years. So this,
right.
This is I'm desensitized to this at this point. I'm just amazed that they use that kind of tech. Yeah, which is sad. I shouldn't feel like that, but
no,
like, wow,
no. But that's where we're at. Well, do you remember when 9/11 first happened, and we actually thought that it was, people stole a plane and flew it into a building?
Right.
The first thing we both marveled at was just it's such a juvenile thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna crash my car through my ex's living room. You can't stop it. It's incredibly damaging.
Right.
And it makes a point. It makes a global point. So this is the same kind of thing, like super juvenile. Like this is a whoopee cushion, basically, on AIDS. I mean, on AIDS, a whoopee cushion on steroids, not on AIDS. You got this thing in your pocket, and oops, pop! It went pop. Now you're in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and go to the Pentex piece that you wanted to deep dive on.
Yeah,
this is the part that blows me away.
Well, so there's two varying theories out there, two varying stories. Of course, Mossad is not saying shit.
Right.
But they are very well known for using something called PETN. I'm going to try this. I'm not a chemist, so nobody give me shit for this. This is erythritol tetranitrate. Okay, so that's a long way to say it's a plastic explosive. It's very stable. This is the kind of stuff that you can hold under a flame, and it has to get pretty hot before it ignites. It is, however, and this is the part that's interesting, it's very explosive when introduced to electrical factors. So you give it a spark, bam, you got a pop. And it's often used as sort of that initial detonator for C4. But in larger quantities, it actually has a pretty high explosive rate, which we saw in the pagers, if that's what they used. And some of the articles that I was reading, and I did a deep dive on a Reddit. I know, bad fits, don't ever do that. But some people who sounded to me like they were knowledgeable, I don't know, maybe they just played too much Call of Duty, but they were postulating that if you were to take the battery out of the pager, wrap it in the Pemtex, put it back in the pager, if you sent a certain number of hits to that pager within 30 seconds, that would be enough to zap the Pemtex, and off it goes. I don't know. Definitely plausible. This shit's been around for a long time, since World War II, really. German chemists, I know, shocker, came up with this. And again, it's highly stable until you don't want it to be stable. So you can throw it, you can drop it, you can have it sit, and it'll just be stable for 50 years. So again, if Mossad did do this, they knew it was going to be stable enough that, it would go off when they wanted it to, not just inertly go off. And, you got a pager going off every other day, and people are going, what the fuck? Let's get rid of our pagers. No, they did it all at once, all at the same time. It was simultaneous. So interesting stuff. I mean, the chemical makeup of this thing, which, by the way, it's also used for certain heart conditions. So
what?
This is one of those weird crossover chemicals, because it's a nitrate. The last part of the tetranitrate, it's a nitrate. So it keeps your blood vessels open and helps with certain heart conditions. So someone out there is walking around with Pemtex in their fucking arteries also. But I don't think they're going to blow up.
So
I mean, I hope not.
We've got so Lisa dropped this into our chat during the week. Thank you, Lisa. I haven't seen this anyplace else. I don't know if you have. 879 Hezbollah terrorists died. 291 senior commanders died. 509 people were blinded. 1,735 injured in their reproductive organs. 613 permanent function damage. That seems like a higher number than I was thinking, but I mean, I'm sure they probably cross over quite a bit.
Yeah, right.
But if that's accurate, wow. That's a lot of dicks to lose.
Exactly. I was just going to say, this is the ultimate kick in the balls. If there were truly that many, quote unquote sexual injuries, reproductive organ injuries, which makes sense, right? Where do you carry a pager? You certainly don't have it hanging from the front of your shirt. Most people put it in their pocket, or it's hanging off their belt or whatever. So it's down in that area. I'm surprised there weren't more deaths. Only because you've got a lot of really big
arteries.
You got the femoral artery down there.
Yeah,
you got femoral artery. You got big stuff down there that really people pretty quickly could have bled out. Although, on the flip side of that, Pemtex burns hot, so it might have blown it up and cauterized it simultaneously.
Ugh.
So there's that too.
So what's
crazy.
Next? What's going to be used next? Because that, like you were saying, this was rudimentary. This was so basic, and so unthought of, right? Because if you had told me, if somebody wrote a book, a Clancy book, and he made a big deal about the terrorists using pagers, it would have been like, wow, that's really smart. It's archaic, but it's really smart that they're doing that. I mean, it's kind of right out of a Clancy book. What's going to be used next to be blown up?
It is. I don't know. I'm thinking they're gonna lace all the paper that they use with a poison. So if you get a paper cut, it kills you. That's my next theory. Because really, that's where we're at here. We're passing notes, under the desk to each other at this point.
You got boom boxes.
And this is just the modern day version of handing the Native Americans blankets with smallpox. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
you're absolutely right.
It's something they're going to use, and also something that's going to kill them.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Very, very scary stuff. We've seen a lot of action in the Middle East over the last couple of days, and today got exponentially worse. Lots of rocket attacks from the Hezbollah, and missile bases were taken out in Lebanon. And then a massive, what looks like, we've been kind of watching it. We haven't gotten any verification yet, but there was a huge explosion that some people thought it was a tactical nuke. And I think we would know if it was a tactical nuke. But it was
Definitely
a huge explosion.
Yeah. Might have been something like a Moab, mother of all bombs or whatever. Something that's, doesn't go nuclear, but has a shit ton of, other explosives in it. And it all goes off at the same time. Because the shockwave that came out from that thing was significant. And if you listen to the video, the pop that it made, it wasn't like a low rumble like you can get from a nuke. This was just a huge, concussive pop, the shockwave. Pretty crazy. Yeah, and isn't there some rumors at this point? I don't think anything's confirmed, but there's some rumors that the airbase in Israel was hit also.
Yes, we did have a
Al-Assad
report. Yeah, let me pull up that.
Oh, we do have a Hefe sighting.
Oh, Hefe.
Given Hefe's history, this is a perfect time for you to come in when we're talking about the Middle East, right? Am I right, McShane?
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, right,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You're now our Middle East consultant, Hefe.
Nice.
What's going on, man? How's the evening treating you?
It's a slow start, but it's busy out there, so it'll get better.
I hear that women prefer slow starts.
Some do, but some don't, if you know what I mean.
Tell us slowly.
Yeah. So, hey, I had a thought. Hefe, I don't know if you have anything that you're bringing here with this first visit. I mean, are we sure we're going to get a second visit from you?
If you guys are still on, yeah. I mean, it'll be
always on, baby. We're always on.
I didn't see a mucker out there, so
Father.
But as of now, it's it'll be what 9:40, I think I said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's like throw a mucker.
9:30, 9:40. Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Well, I mean, should we? First of all, do you have a farm report tonight?
I have a farm report.
Okay, so do you want to do that now, just in case, or should we roll the dice and save it for the second visit?
We can bang it now.
All right.
What do you think, McShane?
Let's bang it. The guy wants to bang it. We need to bang it.
All right, let's bang it. It's a banger.
All right, so I get inundated with emails and letters and stuff. People suggestions and questions. They're like mostly about animals. Like, Hefe, what's the best animal to, help me pick lottery numbers? What's the best animal to dress up in human clothes? Stuff like that.
Right.
But by far, the most common question is animals and their farts. Can you tell us more? And I'm here to tell you, yes, I can. Did you know that birds, octopus, and sloths can't fart?
I feel like I knew birds couldn't. The
Yeah.
other ones, I've never even thought about that.
Zebras' farts are so loud they can be heard miles away. Herrings,
Really?
yes, really. If I say it on the show, it's real.
Understood. All right.
Herrings use farts to communicate with each other when predators are around. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna start doing that. Honey badgers use the stench of their farts to immobilize bees and steal their honey.
Oh, that one tracks. That one
Yeah.
tracks.
That's
And
perfect.
finally, lemurs. They fart, rub their hands in the stench, and wave it at their enemies in a fight. And that is your farm report. I'm going to start doing that one too.
Do you know? Do you know that virtually none of those animals have anything to do with a farm?
Yes.
And yet, I was with you the whole way, man. That was a farm report because there's a lot of talk about cow farts and actual farm farts. You know what I mean, for lack of a better term. So, for you to bring this piece in, this is the kind of stuff you get when you listen to Whiskey Hell, hard hitting, deep dive journalism. Hefe, thank you so much for that. That was special. Did you say they throw the farts at their enemies?
Yeah, they kind of, waft them. I guess it's effective.
So it's like a smoke trail, unlike a skunk.
Right. Yeah, but this segment has, I don't know if it's evolved or devolved, but it's changed over the course of the past few months.
Oh, it's evolved.
It's the first one has something to do with I don't know, Minnesota or something, and how much farmland they have, something like that. But it's just a whole other animal now, so to speak.
Well, to your point, I feel like you need another sounder, so you can just say, nope, we're not doing a farm report. We're doing the animal kingdom. And
yeah, because that's where I was going with it, McShane, is I feel like Hefe is now rivaling David Attenborough. Like, we're at that level at this point.
I get letters from him. Like threatening. Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I thought he was asking you for advice. Because you're so good. But yeah, I could see him feeling threatened. He's an old white guy. That's what they do.
You're right. Yeah, I think he wants advice, but he's too full of himself to ask for advice, so he turns it into I'm going to threaten the guy. We're going to try and belittle him. Which good luck with that. I'm as little as they get.
Well, and I really appreciate Beard's point, and I this is important to say. Any animal can be on a farm if you try hard enough, which is fucking true. Right. So we could have you. I'm sure somewhere out there are octopi farms, right?
Sure,
absolutely.
We certainly have fish farms.
Yep.
We call them hatcheries, but essentially it's a fish farm. So yeah, good point, Beard. Good point.
I'm still stuck on herrings communicating by their farts.
Yeah. Even in the dark. It's kind of.
Is that you, George? Oh, we got a predator.
Womp. Oh, yep. That's Freddy.
All right. Well, let's stay on this topic of animals. Did you guys see the China this week?
Yes. This one, someone's got to be fucking pranking us, right?
No. It was legit.
How could you be fooled by not seeing that that's a fucking Akita or a chow or whatever?
It looks like a chow. So here it is. Like Chinese zoo is under fire because visitors discovered
it's not a panda.
They took a panda. They took dogs and painted them like pandas.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not.
People heard them barking. That's what tipped them off. Really?
Oh, really?
That's what
they
got
don't
you
walk
there, huh?
like a bear. They're not goofy like real pandas are, where they roll around and they're clumsy and stupid. They're walking and looking and panting like dogs. Idiots.
It really is. It is awesome.
Again, you know what? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, it is kind of genius that the
I was gonna say,
Chinese
too.
would
Yeah.
do this. I mean, they rip off everybody else, so why not use dogs?
This kind of goes back to, talking about how juvenile the, exploding pagers thing was. Like, I guess getting this back down to Occam's razor, right? The simplest answer usually is the right one. And if you just dumb it down enough, people won't see it. And or we only see what we want to see. Like, I guess people
you're
going to
right.
that zoo really wanted to see pandas.
Apparently.
So,
and I mean, and you would think pandas are they're very difficult to breed. There aren't a lot of them. So, I guess you got them off of Amazon or something, or Wemu or whatever the hell that was, and there you go. Here's a story on it.
Say they realized the pups were in fact in China is under fire after guests discovered that its newest star attractions, two pandas, are actually just painted dogs. Yeah. The fluffy Chow Chow dogs, painted to resemble the country's beloved national animal, went viral after a guest at the zoo posted a video on TikTok. The video has been shared more than 1.4 million times. Visitors say they realized the pups were in fact not pandas when they started panting and barking. The zoo admitted to the ruse after receiving backlash, as you can imagine, and they've now added a sign that says painted dogs to the enclosure. Many guests asked for refunds, but no word yet on if they got their money back. That is so weird.
It is. Why would you do that? Like, do you really think you're not going to be found out?
And
Anyway, there you go. It's a real thing. Congratulations to China. Sorry if we took your thunder for next week's farm report there, Hefe.
Well, it's a good competitive sport where you guys win this round.
Great.
I mean, God, there's no words. I don't understand.
What could possibly go?
Right. Like, did someone get a raise from this? Like, yes, Chang, that's a great idea. You're now supervisor of the dog park / panda park. And what kind of a life is that for those dogs? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's a great life. I don't know.
Well, you're just hanging out in the yard. You kind of don't do anything else. People are obviously feeding you, like Beard says, Purina. The poor pandas are eating Purina.
Yeah.
Only China. Only China.
I don't know. I mean, in this country 150 years ago, the flea circus was like an actual thing.
Oh, it totally was.
That I paid to see.
A flea circus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
So you found this one, and I think this is from UC Berkeley, Fitz. This is Unitree G1 humanoid. Really creepy. Really creepy. New robot.
I mean, the thing's walking, and it's walking around campus. Like, it gets on an elevator. The guy's kind of like coaching it. It looks like a little 3-year-old. Like,
right.
Just kind of awkward. I don't really know where to put my body. And the parent is kind of like tugging it with one of those fucking harness leashes. But then it gets to where it's supposed to be, and it's like ready for commands, ready to go.
Well, looks like this guy's got a controller behind him or something.
Yeah, he does.
You sent that over. That was pretty creepy. I mean, we're getting into much more lifelike now.
Yeah. Yep. And I think it's so funny, and it plays to how complex our bodies are. But all the robots, all the humanoid robots, the bipedal ones that they make to look like us, they never straighten their legs.
No.
They always have to have bent legs. 'Cause that's the only way they can stay balanced. And you look at us when we stop and we're talking, two people talking in the office or whatever, we always straighten our legs because our ankles and our feet and all the little metatarsals and everything are constantly at work. You have no idea how much work your feet go through to make you just stand still. It's really actually one of the hardest things. I mean, if you look at like the most elite athletes on the planet, like gymnasts, divers, ballet, this level of being able to go from, nothing, complete still to an explosive movement like that. It's hard as hell. And so the best engineers on the planet, this is the best they can do is make this thing waddle around like it has to take a shit.
How about sex dolls?
That's exactly what it looks like too. It really, really does.
Like it has to take a shit or like a sex doll? Because I don't know what you're into, McShane.
It's a shitting sex doll is what I'm looking for apparently.
Yeah, and good point by Beard again. Beard's on fire tonight, but as soon as you get like over that line drunk, you start to realize how fucking hard it is to stand still because you can't. You start wobbling.
Are you guys okay with there being a second moon coming next month?
This isn't a second moon. I'm so tired of this dumb shit.
Did you see this,
as
Hefe?
whiskey?
Hefe's going back.
Yeah, he's checking out some hotties, I think.
All right.
Wait, what happened?
We're gonna have we're gonna have a second moon this week.
Yeah. Did we vote on that or?
No, we did not. No.
It's an asteroid.
If we did vote, I would vote no. One is enough.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, so we've got an asteroid that's going to be moving into I don't even know what the deal is. I mean, it's a
fucking
it's
a celestial it's a celestial body, a very small one that's literally going to come around, do one loop, and then get slingshotted back out into space.
But everybody is making a big deal out of this. Like you're not even going to be able to see it without a telescope.
And I guess the literal definition of a moon is something that is in orbit and does a complete 360 around. So if you're gonna get down to the fucking nitty gritty and get into a semantic, basement with it, this is a moon for about, I think it's like 18 hours it's gonna take for it to do a loop and then it's gone. Fine, we have two moons. Actually, scientists think this happens pretty frequently. The only difference is this one we saw coming. We found it and we're like, oh, it's going to do this thing. Cool. Let's call it a second moon. So what the fuck? Why? Anything for clickbait, dude. Anything for a click.
That's
anybody.
exactly what it is.
God damn.
And that came out on the 18th too. It was a weird week. It was a really, really weird week.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's kind of par for the week.
Last Sunday, we're working on getting the show edited and out the door, watching football, and then all of a sudden there's reports of gunfire while the big orange guy is playing golf.
Yeah.
Fitz, this got weirder and weirder and weirder as the week went on. And then all of a sudden it stopped right after Diddy got taken in.
Great lead in.
Okay.
And that's exactly right. And so I think everybody needs to keep that in mind as we talk about this assassination attempt. Keep that in mind as far as where they want your focus. Where are you shining the flashlight in the dark forest? You're shining the flashlight where the noise is coming from, right? And the same thing happens with our attention. If they make a lot of noise about something else, you move the flashlight and you forget about what's behind you. This is one of those stories that I feel like the more we find out, the less we know. Right? I mean, we first of all, can we just clarify, if somebody shoots at you, that is technically an assassination attempt.
Right.
So let's throw out all the fucking libtards out there that are saying it's not an assassination. I saw a tweet. Did you see the one where the guy was like, thousands of guns get fired in this country every day. Just because one of them got fired near Trump doesn't make it an assassination attempt.
No, it really does.
That was the actual fucking tweet. Okay, fine. Let me shoot one at you, you fucking idiot. But, so let's take that off the table. This was definitely an assassination attempt, especially when you do a deep dive on how fucking psycho this guy was. Literally, most likely a CIA asset.
Yes.
Literally was in a BlackRock commercial. So we're 2 for 2 on that one.
Yep.
Right? I mean, coincidences are like, you bump into someone from work while you're out at the, glory hole or whatever. That's a coincidence. To have 2 shooters, both of them in a BlackRock commercial, that's not a coincidence anymore. That's like a conspiracy. And that's somebody's turning wheels that we get to watch and follow up on.
Yeah, these are the worst Jason Bourne operatives that we've ever seen. Okay, so let's go. Ryan Ruth, right? Ralph.
Yeah.
This guy, huge supporter of Ukraine, like psychotic supporter. Ultra.
He went to Ukraine.
Yes. Well, and we've got a video here of him. And if you guys want some great coverage, some great archive material, go to @somebitch I know KNOW. We've got it in show notes. You guys can go and look her up on there. She's fantastic.
You did a deep dive.
Well, she was brilliant because as soon as this broke down, she went and she grabbed all of this guy's socials and just started copying it. She just screenshot everything because it was all going to be taken down, and it was.
Yeah. Ian Carroll did that too, but he said on his video, he's like, she got way more of it than I did.
Yeah.
She was there first. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, she did a brilliant job. So this guy is weird stuff. He has comments, on his, let me read some of them here. Let's see here. This is from Visgrad24, which we've been a little bit of suspect, but these are actual posts on X. This is March 15th, 2022. He's writing to somebody. The end of the war is to kill Putin in his bed at night. Attack Moscow. I will pay for the Polish planes and fly them at night just above ground and hit every place Putin sleeps. I'm flying to Poland to buy the planes and then to Ukraine to fight. This guy is basically homeless in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy, he's a 50-something. He just lives in Hawaii on the beach and he doesn't do anything. He doesn't have the money to do any of this stuff. His son even came out and said that. His son said he's a great guy. I don't believe any of this. He doesn't have the money to do these kind of things. And then all of a sudden you start looking at this guy's socials. It's off the hook. I would like to offer as an American businessman, so now he's calling himself an American businessman, to purchase the planes that you have for Ukraine to relieve you of any responsibility and wrath from Russia and Putin. I will gladly fly over and make any media meeting to ensure that the purchase is obvious. He was off the fucking map.
Yeah. And so when we're having the discussion in this country, and it could be a school shooter, it could be a assassinator, an evildoer.
Yep.
No, I like assassinator. And we start talking about mental health in this country and why we're not doing more to help these people, but yet we're very quick to put our kids on Ritalin, get them diagnosed with something that there's a drug for, some pharmaceutical for, and yet these fucking people. And by the way, he's an openly gay man, and I'm not saying that has a role to play because he's gay. I'm saying that if you grow up and you're on the fringes of society and you're not handling it well, we don't have a process in this country to help you handle that. We don't have a way to assimilate you and to help you deal with the haters or the people that just misunderstand or don't really know the facts and make assumptions and, call you names or ostracize you or whatever. We don't have a process for that. So because we don't have a process for that, and we can't get these people with the program, this is the shit that happens. This is where you get to, where they attach to something fanatical because it gives their life meaning.
Yep.
They get to stand on moral high ground from all the people that hated them and made fun of them all those years and say, I'm better than you because X or Z or whatever. And so this is where we get to. And the reason I'm saying all this is then we're shocked when they go off and try and shoot somebody, or we're shocked when they shoot up a school. There's nothing shocking about this story. He's clearly mentally unstable, and we've done nothing.
So he gets over to Ukraine, and they know he's just, I mean, I'm sure it breaks down where they just know, okay, this guy's off his rocker. We don't really need him here. Let's go ahead and not pay any attention to him. You know, the letters to Sean Penn aren't hitting home anymore. Takes it upon himself to come home. Right. Yeah. Maybe this guy will just get out of here.
Right.
He was caught on gun charges a few years back. He has a history of being caught with weapons of mass destruction, which that's what it's being called now, which I kind of laughed at when I heard that.
Right.
But it was an AK-47 is what he was caught with at Trump's golf course. But now it's almost as though they're just going to go ahead and omit all of the other bullshit that went into this. Nobody wants to talk about the psychosis that's going on here. Nobody wants to talk about the prior gun involvement. It's not a big deal because, you know, he never actually shot the weapon, even though he pretty much had a sniper's roost along a fence line.
Yeah. Yeah, had all of his shit all hung up on the fence. He was not planning for a shot, guys. He was planning on being there a while.
And then right after this gets done, P. Diddy goes to jail.
And not only did he go to jail, it was all you could find for about 3 hours.
Yeah. Nothing else matters after that.
No, exactly. And again, going back to the metaphor I used, you know, you hear a noise, a bump in the night, that's where you turn your attention to. We all do. I mean, we're all guilty of it. It's not like it's a bad thing. That's what's kept us alive, you know, the last 150,000 years. But it can also be manipulated and used to influence you and make you forget about and memory hole shit that you probably should be paying attention to. Because at the end of the day, look, I know P. Diddy did some naughty shit. P. Diddy was naughty. But I don't care about that fucking guy. He's inconsequential to me. But if this Routh had succeeded and got a shot off in the right spot in Trump's body, we're looking at a very different world in the next 6 months. Oh, very different.
Oh, yeah. And I would guarantee you that none of the other stuff that happened this week would have happened.
Right.
And I'm absolutely banking on this too. I'm absolutely banking on. So we've got another assassination attempt. A loon who couldn't have, he shouldn't have had the money to go and do any of the things that he did. It screams that he's an operative from the CIA or something. It just reeks. And he's another white guy for Kamala.
Yep.
Hates Trump. That's all over his timeline. His mission was to take out Trump. I guess I don't know. It's just, well, you know what? Hold on. Maybe Fitz. I wonder if I can explain this. Can I explain? Let me see if I can explain this. Let's try this.
Okay. This fucking...
Coming out of Butler, I have ordered a paradigm shift. The Secret Service's protective methodologies work, and they are sound, and we saw that yesterday. But the way we are positioned right now in this dynamic threat environment, it has given me guidance to say, you know what? We need to look at what our protective methodology is. We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model. There could be another geopolitical event that could put the United States into a kinetic conflict or some other issue that may result in additional responsibilities and protectees of the United States Secret Service. And so we are working, we are making information available to all of our partners. And I just want to say that the commitment of Congress to the Secret Service throughout the years has been tremendous. And we will continue to work with them and Secretary Mayorkas, whose support in making sure that we're getting what we need has been phenomenal.
That was acting U.S. Secret Service Director. And they don't have his name posted here. But yesterday, Congress passed a bill 405-0 to up the money for the U.S. Secret Service big time.
Yeah. And to make all Secret Service coverage equal for all candidates and sitting presidents, which RFK, let's not forget, RFK was screaming about. In fact, we covered that story way back in like last January or February, that he wasn't getting, he kept requesting it and they kept denying him. At least we're here. At least we're here. And I want to touch on quickly, to your point, Beard. Beard's point in chat was basically like they're not exactly sending their best and brightest here to try and take out Trump. And you're right, because there are people who, we know exist who can, take a penny out of your hand with a bullet from, a mile away. There are people like that out there. So why are they sending these fucksticks, like these degenerates, and I can't help but I have this nagging little itch right on the backside of my asshole that won't go away, that this is all distraction also.
Yes.
That this is all more bread and circus, that this is all more drama to, make us care for or hate the candidates more, whichever candidate you want to, fill in the blank. And it's all being done to pull at our emotions.
Division.
Because it is. It's division, and it's all hyperbole. It's not, there's no substance to any of this. And these are clearly people who are expendable. They're not valuable assets, right? I mean, this is not Jason Bourne.
Right.
This is not, your high level CIA assets that may or may not be listening to Whiskey Hell Pod, and if you are, we love you. But these people that are, out, doing the really super high level covert shit. The whole point of those people is you never know their names. They never go off the rails. They are mentally stable because they have to do what has to be done. And so again, guys, we say it all the time, think critically, act accordingly. This is one of those times where, even the Secret Service guy, they don't even put his name up. He looks like he got pulled out of, like I said, it looks like his mom made him wear that fucking tie to the third grade, picture day.
And they always have that haircut, right?
And he's got this typical fucking government issue buzz
fucking
cut.
haircut. Yep.
Yeah. Even he fits the role of what we would expect a government official to come out and say. It's all scripted. It's all in front of us. It's the narrative. What we are expecting to see. It is a narrative, yes, with a capital N. And I think we're going to see a lot of this in the coming weeks. I think. Oh, here's your first dog whistle. If you hear someone say, one of two words, misinformation or disinformation, you immediately know they're lying. That guy's out. That person's out. Just fuck them. But then you have to dig deeper and really find. I mean, truth is the only thing that matters right now, and the waters are being so muddied in the truth river or the truth pool. You're gonna have to wander around in the dark to some degree and try and find it with your fingers, your other senses, because what your eyes are telling you is a lie. And we're all going to have to be sharp here the next, what are we, 5 weeks away from an actual election?
Yep. Something like that.
Wow. Buckle your seatbelts.
How was that beer?
You know what, dude? Really impressive. Again, you kind of mentioned it and touched on it. That it's rare that we have an all-women brewery. I also think that when you are an all-women brewery, because of the competitive nature of the brewing industry, and that it's traditionally been male, you got to be at the top of your fucking game if you're going to make it, especially in a place like Bend, where there are only a certain number of breweries allowed. They killed it. I would absolutely drink this beer again. It was smooth. It had the elements of an IPA that you want, but then it left. It went away. There's nothing lingering, nothing that you're going to regret tomorrow. It's just a straight up good beer. Really good summer beer. I think I would have, like, one of these on a hot day would have been great. But we're heading into fall here, so it was a little bit out of place, but great beer. I really enjoyed it. How about yours? What's going on with the extract over there?
It was abrasive at first because I caught the extract right away. They didn't hide it, but I brought two of them up because I thought, well, you know what? I'll just go ahead and I'll make this my side bitch too, because it's low ABV and it's a very neutral beer, right?
Yeah.
So I actually started the second one and it's been okay. It's refreshing. You don't really catch the extract anymore after the first one, and I think it all kind of runs together. I still wouldn't go out and buy another one, and I'd be very leery to go to that brewery again just because they do that, kind of like 903 for me. They're off my list.
Yeah. Yep.
But we'll have to see if we get some more from them out here, and we'll maybe we'll take a look at something else, and maybe if they're still doing that garbage, then that'll take them off the list. But it's been okay. I'll drink it.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't have to battle through it. You just had to kind of tolerate it.
Yeah. It wasn't my favorite beer. That's all right. Not every beer is going to be. All right, let's get into beer 2, shall we?
Sounds good. Halftime.
Beer 2. Fitz. So I finally found Abomination Brewing out here.
Okay.
I don't think I've had them out here before. This is the only one that I've seen.
Enjoy. Welcome. They're awesome.
I'm pretty stoked. If you guys go to abominationbrewing.com and check out their beers, they are all of their beer art is just freaky, creepy.
So yeah.
And they just do not hold back. The beer that I have tonight is called Toxic Earth. It's a double IPA, and it's brewed with local honey and matcha. And there's also some...
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and there's also coconut in it. Now, I went to go get this from a Shell station. The one with the gigantic beer cooler.
Yeah.
These guys are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm in the beer cooler, and a couple other guys walk in, and there's like, oh, I mean, he's got this really thick Indian accent. I'm not gonna, be terrible and try and mimic it, but he's got this super thick Indian accent, and he starts gushing about this beer, and he tells me, "No, don't be afraid of it." I'm like, "Really? Don't be afraid of a beer?" Okay, now, all right, now I'm really interested.
Yeah, right.
It's
you got me.
You're gonna pour this beer, and it's gonna be really, really green, and it's gonna have white flecks in it, and apparently that's the coconut that's floating in it. This does have a lot of matcha in it.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna send you a picture of it. I'll drop it in the whiskey chat because this thing is really green. Anybody out there who wants to see this stuff, the extra content, go to whiskey or go to our Patreon. You guys will get stuff like this, because this does not make it on to X. Look at that. That is absolutely green. That is toxic green, nuclear green.
Okay, all right. You're talking Homer Simpson at the radioactive nuclear plant green.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got floaties in it too. It totally has floaties in it.
Dude, sometimes those are just the most like fun and wild beers
Yep.
because they actually put chunks of stuff in it. Like it's a meal also.
Yep. Oh,
That's
jeez.
great.
Whoa.
You okay?
Oh man, that's crazy. That is a crazy double IPA. Oh, that is on steroids. That is a meal in a glass. Mouthfeel is just full. Oh. No, I have to explain this. This is an oops. Right? You're out. You woke up next to someone that how did you get in my bed? You're not sure, but you're not totally angry about it either. You're like, well, maybe that wasn't a bad idea. Maybe it wasn't a great idea. I don't really know. And you're struggling to find your pants. You're hoping you got your keys, your wallet, you got your kidneys. And then you're running for the door.
Yeah. Yep.
But you obviously enjoyed the shit out of it.
And you're never going to forget it.
Oh my God. That is an intense. That's a hell of an IPA. Wow. Damn. You get the honey, you get the matcha, you definitely get a little bit of coconut. It's sweet, it's full. That is a fucking beautiful IPA. Wow. Your turn. Go for it.
Well,
I might take off my shorts. Huh?
I'm so glad that you found Abomination. They really I've had several of their beers on the show. They're kind of, we were talking about chemistry earlier. They are kind of chemists.
Yep.
Not in the sense of like McKellar, but more in the sense of, hey, we're gonna make a solid beer and then let's try some funky shit with it.
Yeah.
And like you said, the artwork is just so fucking. I mean, I'll admit it. I raise my hand and preach to the Lord here. I have bought many of their beers based off the can art alone. Just really, really cool shit. So,
well, if we're getting
good
there...
for you. I'm glad you're getting them out there. Hopefully those guys come through and keep getting you more. Oh God, I cannot wait for their Santa's Black. That is such a good beer. I have at least one of those every fucking year. So good.
They're kind of on the par with Drecker, only they're not as... Drecker's mad scientist, they're evil scientist, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, they're the dude in Princess Bride who was down there like measuring how much pain a person could take.
Yeah.
Is that guy. Yeah, that's who they are.
That's good. All right.
The pale guy.
All right, what do you
well, I have something that I'm really excited about too, and I really actually I'm feeling sorry for both of our first beers at this point because my first beer was a solid beer, definitely gets at least 4 stars, but what I'm bringing up here, what I'm evoking as my second beer, and what you have thrown down with that beer, our first beers just aren't going to be able to compete.
No.
This one is from Ex Novo. They're originally a Portland outfit. They're actually brewing in New Mexico now, which is really exciting. They're kind of, so we've got, Pacific Northwest and Desert Southwest, my two loves.
Right.
Kind of coming together in a brewery here, but Ex Novo is great. They're kind of, if we've got the mad scientists, we've got the evil scientists. These guys are just the pure scientists. They everything they do is calculated. It is precise. it is a little on the cutting edge, but only because they want to grow the science and not because they want any credit for it.
Okay.
So anyway, this one is called Evermore, and it's a beautiful can. Evermore sort of, I'm sorry, Nevermore, not Evermore. Nevermore, alluding to the Edgar Allan Poe poem, The Raven. The Raven, that was one of his quotes as he sort of was talking to the man late at night. There it is, right there, Nevermore. I have the 2023.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, beautiful can.
Oh,
Got
this isn't
a
even
raven.
going to be fair. I already know where this is going. Go ahead.
Well, no, it is though, but yeah, I had to evoke this one. It's a 12%er. It's a barrel aged black barley wine. Okay, I've never even heard of such a thing. But again, these guys are precise and calculated, and I know it's going to be amazing. But I had to do this beer. Beautiful artwork on the can, but also I think it's going to be a beautiful beer. It poured exactly how you would want a barley wine to pour, which is on the thicker side, but not super viscous, with a bit of a head, just a little bit of a layer of head on there. But what you want from a barley wine is the fragrance. You want that nose to hit you first, and oh my God, it smells amazing. Dark cherries, figs, a little bit of leather in there. This thing is in earth beer. So let's see what we got.
Yeah, barley wines are unique. They're big. If they're done exceptionally well, they're subtle, and they knock you on your ass the next day.
Oh my God, dude, my mouth won't stop watering. Holy shit, this is good, dude. Dark cherry up top, right off the bat up front. Then the figs come in.
Okay.
And you mentioned some sweetness in that beer that you have. This is a sweet beer also.
Okay. But not sickening, not sick sweet, right?
No. Just like enough to calm down that dark cherry sour tart. There's the balance of the tart and then the sweet. And then on the back end, like I said, you get the leather, the bark, those really earthy, like almost like you might have just drinking some mud, but you're not sure. Wow. Amazing beer. And you know what? It lingers. That first beer I had just went away as soon as you swallowed. This thing is lingering in my mouth. Like as I'm breathing in, I can taste it again.
So that
really
has
amazing beer.
The dark Munich malts in there too, which is going to give you that kind of a Schwarzbier.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Texture to it too.
Yep.
All right.
Oh man. I am a happy little dog right now. You know, you could actually spray paint me to look like a panda, and I'd be okay with that.
You'd be totally awesome with it. All right.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I'm good. I got a beer.
Not too boozy?
No, it's hot, but not unpleasantly so. In fact, it's hot, halfway down your gullet. You know, about where your Adam's apple starts. That's where I'm feeling the heat, not in your mouth. Which clearly is what she said, but also it's what this beer's doing to me.
All right, ex novo.
And can we
Nevermore.
Can we just give a shout out because it's that time of year, and we may have a surprise for everybody here in the next 4 weeks or so as we get near Halloween. But I want to give a shout out to Edgar Allan Poe. Dude died penniless and drunk in a fucking gutter. And so obviously he was a connoisseur of fine alcohols. So we already know he would have been a fan of the show. Secondly, the dude was just haunted, but he decided to share his hauntedness, right? He decided to write it down for other people to share in. And he has inspired so much, dark art. You know, his is amazing. His dark art's amazing. But after you read his stuff, you're instantly inspired to do your own dark stuff. And I think, like anything, we all have to have that balance of dark and light in ourselves. You can't just be always good all the time. You got to have that dark side. and I often will, no, not often. This time of year, I find myself being drawn back to the Raven, and just I have a compendium of all of Edgar Allan Poe's stuff, and I definitely sharpshoot. I don't read the whole thing. It's not a cover to cover kind of read. It's just you know what, I really fucking like this poem and where it puts me at mentally, and so I'll delve into it and check it out. And I just want to give a shout out because this is somebody who nobody knew his fucking name when he died. And now here we are 170 years later or whatever. And we're discussing him, and he's still like an active part of our culture. And that's pretty amazing. That's pretty
Absolutely.
special. So I'm a huge Poe fan, and this beer was inspired by him. And so like I said, I may have a little trick up my sleeve in the next few weeks here. But more to follow on that.
Well, I think it goes without saying that we're looking forward to that. And, and maybe this is going to be a side quest that we're going to go on here, but Beard posed a question in chat, to ask and answer a question asked by the Whiskey Tribe on YouTube. Can broken people be cheers worthy? And he says yes. I absolutely say yes.
I would even take it a step further. It is the broken people who we most cheers to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They drive us.
That's who deserves it the most. That's right.
I would 100%. Say that there's nobody attached to this program that isn't a little broken in some way or manner or another, or just completely fucking broken. So
yeah, which is why we like you.
Goddamn right.
I don't like perfect people.
Aaron, a little. Well,
okay.
These
to
beers,
varying degrees.
Beers 2 is here to the broken, the battered, and the bruised. Cheers.
Amen. Cheers.
I kind of want to go to I've never been a huge Poe fan. And it's just my own fault for not reading it. I was forced on me in school, and I kind of rejected it. I was like, go fuck yourself.
Sure. Yeah, that's understandable.
So I haven't sat down and really appreciated it. I know it's elegant, it's fantastic, and fucking frightening. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. Well, it makes you confront your death.
Oh, absolutely. Every goddamn time.
Yep.
I kind of want to go to the Edgar Allan Poe Festival that is held every year, and I think it's in Maryland. It's actually on October 4th and 6th. That would just be a fucking blast.
Yeah, because I think I believe he died. I think it was in Baltimore, in the streets of Baltimore, and so yeah, he's Northeast born and bred, and just God, you read about his life and you're like, no wonder he wrote this stuff, but good for him for writing it, for getting it out, for sharing it with posterity. Because most people, let's be honest, cover it up and they hide it because they're ashamed of it or they're afraid of it. And he was like, nah, other people might feel like I do. You should probably hear about this.
Enjoy my fucking pain, bitches. That's how that dropped.
Yeah, and let's have a drink.
All right, I've got a clip of the week I want to play, which is gonna catapult us through the rest of the show. Okay, this is John Dawson. You guys can check him out at the John Dawson, and this is just a fantastic clip of a gentleman just going off and telling it like it is.
Yeah, love this guy.
So an assassination attempt was just made on President Donald Trump, and I don't think it was successful. I think he got grazed in the ear. I'm not going to fearmonger you guys and do the whole conservative, oh my gosh, Trump's shot. I think he's fine. To the knowledge that I was able to find through a few minutes of research, because it just happened a few minutes ago, he's fine. But here's what I want to say, and I've been wanting to say this for a while. I am so tired of these diluted American brains that are listening to this theater script play out on television, telling them that reality is one thing, and they're not smart enough to step out their door and realize reality is completely different. We have the news telling us white supremacy is one of the biggest threats to our country. We have people telling us that the conservatives are the same as the neo you-know-whats. They have people saying that ultra MAGA is violent. They have people saying that Trump's trying to overthrow democracy. They have people saying that all of the violence and the civil unrest and the inflation and everything is conservative Trump fault. And I'm tired of it. If you aren't smart enough to step outside your door and look around and be like, all right, hold up. This theater that I'm watching inside isn't matching what's going on outside. Learn to do your own research. I am tired of you guys just running around, I'm a proud American, and then opening your mouth to be spoon-fed information so you can palate it. Because if you ever had to draw your own conclusion or connect your own dots, you would be completely lost and probably dye your hair purple. There is one president in this race that had an assassination attempt taken against him. As a matter of fact, if you think back to the last president that had an assassination attempt taken on him that has gotten this close, you're going to go back a ways. And if you actually look at the presidents that were assassinated and you look at what they were doing to the government money, you would realize the reason they're getting taken out isn't because some random Joe Schmo downtown doesn't want that president. It's because the system feels threatened. It's not some random person that's living out in the country that's like, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to take out Donald Trump. No, this is a systematic approach, right? Their first approach was, hey, we're going to make sure that Joe Biden gets elected and we're going to make sure he gets the votes. He got the votes. Boom. This time around, they were going to do the same thing. They were going to put Joe out there. He was going to get a landslide of votes. Joe was going to win again. But here's the thing. They decided instead of trying to do anything risky, let's just put our opponent in prison. Let's do it the legal way. Let's send him through the judicial system, get him locked up so he can't run for president. And that failed. And as a matter of fact, it garnished more support for Donald Trump. So they were like, oh crap, Joe Biden, you got to get out there and debate. You got to make sure we can sell how many votes you're going to get and people are going to believe it. But guess what? Joe went up there and fumbled the ball. It's not a coincidence that this assassination attempt happened right after Joe Biden completely fumbled the bag on the debate stage. And all of a sudden, even his own supporters are calling for him to step down. And now the system that you supposedly hate but somehow still vote liberal, that system is panicking. And the only other option they have, since they already exhausted the fake vote, they've already exhausted the legal proceedings, and now their only option is left with desperate, take him out. If you guys can't actually see this playing out, then I don't know what you're on, but I'm so sick and tired of the mentality that Americans have being like, well, no, start paying attention. Start paying attention. The presidents that get taken out are the presidents that threaten the system. The same system that you complain incarcerates black people. The same system that won't give you health care. The same system that's doing everything that you've complained about for decades, yet somehow you keep voting for Joe Biden 1994 crime bill, Kamala Harris imprisoning black people on minor marijuana charges just to put people on our prison workforce. If you don't wake up and smell the freaking flowers, I don't know what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Stop thinking like they're telling you how to think and start thinking for yourself. When you go vote, there's one guy that's taking out the system that hates you, and there's another guy that's making that system stronger. You make that choice.
At
here.
The Jon Dawson.
Yeah, well said.
Powerful. Perfect.
Yeah, he summed it all up 100% right there. In 3 minutes, 48 seconds. That's the truth of it right there. And again, we've said it many times on the show. We're not here to advocate for one side or the other, but we are here to call out the bullshit. And time after time, week after fucking week, the bullshit's coming from the left side. And you don't even have to put a name on it. It's not Biden. It's not Kamala. They're puppets. We all know that. They're all, being marionetted around. It's not them. It's that side of the political divide, that side of, and further proof of that is all these war hawks like Dick Hole Cheney, and his son, I forget his fucking name. It's not Hunter, but it's something douchey like that. The fact that they're all jumping on board with the left tells you right there that the left wants more war. They want to perpetuate these wars. They want these things to go on, in perpetua, while we all just keep funding it. So they all get richer. Our young people go and fight and die, and the machine just keeps grinding on. The people who, again, not to put names on it, but anybody who's against that, I am for. So if that happens to be Trump, and there's a lot of things I don't like about that man, we've documented them well here on this show. But if that happens to be him and he's willing to stand up and fight that machine, I'm all fucking for it. I am here for it. I'm with him. I'm with all of you. And it's just crazy that I'm actually considering myself, I am in today's world, I am a conservative. I never used to be. But the slide has moved so far to the left side. that now I haven't gone anywhere. I still believe what I have always believed. I've remained still, but the meter has slid so far one way. I'm now a conservative, as are you, McShane, as are a lot of your, friends and family who also consider themselves left and liberal. And now those same people, we're conservatives, and it's a really weird place to be, but fuck the left. They are taking us to a place of war, of a failed economy, of no jobs, of no homes, of an immigrant population coming in illegally who are invading our neighborhoods and our cities and they're not getting with our American culture. They're not assimilating. They're doing their own thing. And that's not a world I want to live in.
Trump is now, he's actually a third-party candidate. I really want to call that what it is.
That's true. I would agree.
When you have the Bushes uniting with the Obamas, when you have the warmonger Dick Cheney, one of the most horrible people on the planet, like amazing that he's still even alive.
Yeah, undisputed, terrible person.
Uniting with the left. There is no stronger signal that you should be concerned about anything that the left wants to do, regardless of who is on. Like, if you're looking at it, and I have very little respect for a lot of the Republicans. I really do. I think they're worthless. I really do, especially the rhinos. It has not been more apparent that it's a uniparty. We knew this before. Yep. We totally knew this before, which having Vance in there just confuses everything, because we know he's one step from being uniparty. He's going to get his VP nomination and we'll see what happens. But Trump doesn't fit the Republican Party. He doesn't fit the Democrat Party. He really doesn't. And
he was a Democrat. He was
a Democrat. He absolutely
Democrat.
was. He absolutely, very blue.
Hillary. Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, again, highly suggest you guys go out and follow at the John Jon Dawson, because that sets up our next topic. Fitz.
Yeah,
I really feel like P. Diddy was trying to pull a Hefe here.
P. Diddler. Wait, what?
Well, Hefe has well over 1,000 things of baby oil in his house and fuck water.
Oh.
And
when I thought you were going to say kids. Yeah, right. Fuck water. Let's not forget fuck water. You can't. I still have yet to check that stuff out. I need to. I'm sorry. Anything that with the word fuck in it, I probably should own at least a bottle of it, right?
I think so.
That's kind of a rule. Anyway, go ahead. Fuck water.
1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube were found in P. Diddy's house, along with 2 AR-15s, a bunch of drugs and sex toys and all kinds of stuff. Here is
Fox News alert. Diddy was arrested on sex trafficking and racketeering charges, and the judge denied him bail. Tonight, Primetime's getting an inside look at what Diddy's being accused of. What we learn could bring the whole music industry down and might explain how Diddy got away with it for so long. The feds say Diddy created a criminal enterprise that engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. At the center of Diddy's criminal enterprise, drug-fueled sex parties. They're called freak-offs. Diddy lured women into his world and then manipulated them to participate in highly orchestrated sex acts with male prostitutes while Diddy watched and pleasured himself. Diddy gave out drugs at the freak-offs to keep victims obedient and compliant. These freak-offs could last days. Victims were given IVs to replenish fluid and then keep going. Diddy was known for throwing star-studded parties, but we don't really know who came to the freak-offs. We do know if you didn't freak off with Diddy, there were consequences. Diddy would threaten to kill your career, or worse. If you didn't do what Diddy wanted, he got violent, punching, kicking, and dragging women by their hair. Diddy had complete control over his freak-off victims. He had control of their housing money. He even tracked their location. And Diddy filmed the freak-offs, so he had the video for blackmail. Diddy's freak-offs have been going on for 15 years. That's a lot of tapes. The feds have their hands on all of them. They raided 2 of his homes earlier this year and walked out with his computers. They also seized freak-off supplies, drugs, guns, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. He also had 2 AR-15s stashed in his bedroom with the serial numbers scratched off. Today, Diddy pled not guilty and offered up $50 million for bail. But the judge denied him. Diddy's staying in jail. The judge said he's concerned about Diddy's substance abuse and anger issues and said he was a flight risk. Diddy's lawyer says he's going to fight.
We're going to fight this case with everything we have as is.
Of course you are. Okay.
Look at, they always hire a Jewish lawyer. Always.
Oh, absolutely. Crazy. It's the only time you
Yeah.
like Jews. When you're buying diamonds and you need a lawyer. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Don't diamonds come from Antwerp?
Avi.
I God damn it. I'm going to have to say it again.
Say it.
I'm not trying to sound racist here. This does not sound racist, but
No.
What happens when you give like a hood rat, like somebody from the hood, and that's not putting a color on somebody. That's just saying you're from abject poverty. What happens when you instantly give them fame and basically unlimited funds? Answer: freak-offs. Baby oil fueled freak-offs with people pulling women by their hair to keep them fucking and putting IV fluids in them so that they can keep going. My God, what the fuck are you talking about? First of all, I'm just going to say it. I'm a little bit jealous because, like,
why didn't I get an invite?
Yeah. How do you get to be one of those male prostitutes? Like, fuck all day? Okay, let's do it. P. Diddy's going to be in the corner filming you and he might jack off. Okay. I'm okay with that. How hot are the women? You know what I mean? But like, first of all, why is anyone surprised about this? I guess that's my point. You can take the dog out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the dog. That quote, like, of course you give someone unlimited funds, but they still come from a place where these are the things that you do. This is how you show your wealth. This is how you show your power. This is how you show your influence. This is how you have fun. That's not going to change just because you have $700 million in the bank. It's only going to get bigger. So I don't know why anyone's surprised, A, and B, yeah, the guy's fucking sick. Put him in jail. Don't give him bail. Good job, judge.
Well, okay, so here's a couple of things that just escaped me a little bit because we knew this was coming. We talked about this like months ago that there was going to be, I don't know how he would have any of this shit on his property, why he didn't get rid of all this stuff. I have no idea. The FBI already raided his house a couple months back. Why is this stuff even there? Makes no sense to me. He got into the business.
His son. Remember his son was there during the raid?
Yeah.
Remember that whole scene? It was fucking weird. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And his son actually was brought up on, I think it was a sexual offense too. When he got into the business, he was a shitty rapper. He was not very good.
Dude, no.
But
he was an okay producer, but yeah, his raps were shit.
Yeah.
And he knew it.
Right. But he turned into an industry lapdog and I think, I want to say that it was from Sony. I can't remember the guy's names now, so I apologize. You can look it up. It's all online. But they started funding him more and more and more and putting him in a position so that he was going to be the hot producer. Well, when he turned into the hot producer, he could start throwing these lavish parties, giving him, all of this clout. letting him to be able to go ahead and blackmail and to have all these sex parties and to start getting tapes and start being able to control people. So I'm not, and that is not to let him off. He's a horrible human being. But from the get-go, the last 20 years, there was some orchestration that happened early on. And you can't, I have absolutely no doubt that this started out as being a harmless, not harmless, that's a bad term, a simple, let's go ahead and get control of as many celebrities as we possibly can, Justin Bieber, Aliyah, Jennifer Lopez, and let's go ahead and let's go ahead and have some fun with it, and let's go ahead and build our empire kind of a thing, and make sure that specific producing companies get all the business. It's a crazy fucking story, and this is I'm gonna play this. We'll probably get kicked off YouTube for it, but it needs to happen.
Hold on, before you play that, for any of you who are interested, Netflix's documentary Hip Hop Evolution, season 1 and season 2, really fabulous, and actually, through actual interviews with people who were in the game, and it goes way back. It goes all the way back to the beginnings of hip hop back in the 70s. You know, when you know, the New York scene was like, fuck disco. Disco sucks. We're going to do something that's new and fresh, and it is an absolute answer to why disco sucks. So hip hop started. They go all the way back, and in one of those episodes, I don't know what it was, but it's later in the season, they go through and sort of dismantle P. Diddy. They kind of start out the episode by saying, look, P. Diddy, we have to talk about him because he's influential and he was a huge part of the 90s hip hop scene. But then they start talking to people who were in the videos, who produced his music, whatever. And he knew what he was doing. He was just making pop shit for the masses so that he could get well known and get out there, knowing that his raps were crap. But he justified it by saying, well, it's so I can fund Biggie and Jay-Z and these other bigger, rappers who actually have some skill. And now, now it comes out, and who knows Biggie's involvement, but now it comes out Jay-Z and Beyonce are tied up in all of this too. So what the fuck was going on back in the 90s? And again, to put it in perspective, the 90s was 30 years ago, guys. This has been known and been talked about and been deep dives on for 30 years. Why is it coming out now? You have to ask yourself that, which is, I think, where you're going with this next clip.
That's where we're going with it. I'm actually going to skip the other clip. If you guys want to go out and look up the clip that I was going to play, look up Meek Mill, P. Diddy bodyguard. You'll hear it.
Oh,
it's awful.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to put it on the show.
It is awful. Yeah.
But this, I do want to play. This is at Shipwreck Show. This is going to kind of tie everything together. So as you're listening to this, think about everybody who's come out for Kamala. Okay. All of the actors that are no longer working.
You bet.
All of the directors that are no longer working. Okay. Ben Stiller hasn't had a job in a while. Sean Astin, I don't know when he had another job. Mark Hamill, nobody takes him fucking seriously. He got a couple of parts in Star Wars. Everybody fucking hated those movies.
Yeah, and killed it. Yeah.
And killed it. So think about that. Think about the Hollywoodness, and think about the music industry as you're listening to this.
The distraction. It's the point. Many people are posting how what's being talked about with Puff Daddy or P. Diddy is a distraction from Trump's second would-be assassinator. We're getting too close to finding out who the assassination attempt person was. No, that's not what it was. What's going on with P. Diddy is the point. It's the point to all of this. Gotta do something about these missing children grabbed up by perverts. Too many incidences. Fast trial. F-day penalty. No party like a P. Diddy party. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, now P. Diddy. And P. Diddy's got it all on tape. He's got, 15 years of tapes of star-studded celebrities doing unthinkable things to minors. Why is Kamala Harris surrounding herself with Hollywood when Hollywood is falling? Is the district attorney in California during the time when all of this was happening? Because these allegations against P. Diddy and all of these other Hollywood Years of tapes of star-studded celebrities doing unthinkable things to minors. Why is Kamala Harris surrounding herself with Hollywood when Hollywood is falling? Who was the district attorney in California during the time when all of this was happening? Because these allegations against P. Diddy and all of these other Hollywood elites, they're not new. They've been going on for years. Why is it just now being brought up? Why did Danny Masterson just now get held accountable for what he did? Why is P. Diddy just now sitting in jail after, 15 years of this stuff? Why is it just now that Kim Porter, who is P. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, now just coming out with her book? After she passed away mysteriously from pneumonia in 2018, why just now? What's happening in Hollywood and with P. Diddy and the rest of them is not the distraction, and it is the thing that you should be talking about. Did you know that back in the 16th century, the royal elites thought that they could stay youthful by bathing in the blood of virgins? You know that here in 2024, that is a topic that is still being talked about, that is still being looked into, that is still actively being used? Did you know that there are still thousands and thousands and thousands of migrant children that are unaccounted for, that just disappeared at the border? We got to do something about all these missing kids. What changed and why now? Political theater is the distraction. Everything that is going on with Hollywood and all of these people, this is the point, and this is what you need to be paying attention to. Because P. Diddy is going to sing like a bird, and it's all going to fall.
If P. Diddy doesn't unalive himself.
Well, right. I mean, and that's the next thing we need to look out for. Like I said, there are people sharpening toothbrushes right now, and don't doubt that they would do it for free, but add in a little incentive. Hey, we're going to take 5 years off your sentence, or hey, we're going to take care of your woman and your kids while you're in here. Fuck. Done. Consider it done. I mean, I truly believe his days are numbered. And if he's allowed to speak and allowed to go to trial, and he does sing like a bird, because I think, at his core, he's kind of a fucking pussy. I do think he's gonna sing. If he does that, then the ripples that will come from that, it'll be, the whole classic list: denial, and then redirection of blame, and then just kill everybody who knew anything. I mean, we could literally be watching the beginning of the end here. And, maybe Epstein was the beginning of the end, but this is another, nail in that coffin of, the truth is coming out. They can bury it. They can try and bury it, but there's someone always watching, someone out there, and it's going to come out.
You have to... Guilt by association is a real thing. It really is.
Of course. Of course.
You have all these individuals who are hanging out with this guy, hanging out in the scene, selling their soul to get wherever they got. We've seen everybody at this point has seen LeBron James in his maid outfit.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody sees the walk of shame when you see a NBA player or a celebrity who's wearing normally pretty butch, pretty powerful, ultra male kind of a guy, wears an outfit that's like super, super feminine.
Metrosexual.
We've all seen those pictures. The videos, for that matter. I don't know. It's concerning. It really, really is. And
again, this is not. This isn't kink shaming. This isn't, calling anyone out for their sexual orientation. But when there is shame around your sexual orientation, it can be used against you.
Yep.
And I mean, it's a known fact that a lot of the people who were recruited for the MK Ultra experiments, including Ted Bundy, by the way, and what was his name? The Unabomber, Kaczynski. They were homosexual, and back then that was taboo. That was something you couldn't be, and it was not only were they shamed, but it was used against them to influence them, to make them do things they wouldn't normally do, to push them to a point where they felt like, I don't have a choice but to attack others.
Ryan Ruth.
We're right back there. Right back to him. And you know, imagine if it came out that LeBron James was, you know, his kink was he liked to be fucked in the ass by his entire team. You know, if you score 30 points, you get to do it twice, kind of thing. I mean, imagine. And we don't want to shame anybody for their sexual orientation, but at the same time, that's kind of weird. And if it's not normalized yet, so it can really, it really could backfire for these people. And it seems to be that a lot of these celebrities, these creatives, people who are very creative, very charismatic, people we want to listen to, also tend to be sexual deviants, which I'm not passing judgment on, but I'm saying it can be used against them. And so now they are being used as pawns for the powers that be, who are like, hey, we don't even have to pay this guy off. We just have to threaten him and you know, with telling his wife that he's actually a closet homosexual or whatever. And boom, you got him. You blackmail 101. And what's coming out is that we're seeing that a lot more of these people than we thought are falling into that category. And we may, you know, look, I'm listening to this really interesting podcast with Lex Friedman. He's got this Roman historian on, and this guy has literally spent his entire life researching Rome, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And one of the things he said in that interview was that the Senate was so adept at using sexual orientation either against you or for you, to manipulate you. So if you were really into women, which wasn't a shunned thing, that's fine, but we're going to throw beautiful women at you until you cheat on your wife, and then they got you. Or if you were married but you were also into guys, they were going to use that against you. They used sex as a manipulator, as a screw to turn. Yeah, it's a honeypot all the way. And so that's this, guys. This has gone back 1,000 years, and it'll keep happening. It's one of the weaknesses, particularly in men, although women fall victim to it too. But I mean, you know, it's a joke, but sometimes guys are just led around by the wrong head, and sometimes that gets you into trouble. And you either can face up to it, or you can, you know, follow along with what the powers that be want you to do because you don't want people to find out, and that's where you get in trouble. So anyway, that's a long, drawn-out way to say the shit's been going on. It will always be going on. And P. Diddy is one, you know, just one guy in a long line of people who have been used but also get to use other people for political and financial gain.
So as you're watching the politics, while you're watching everybody who's coming out for Kamala, think about them. Think about if they've associated with him. Think about who they've associated with. Oprah partied with P. Diddy. Kamala partied with P. Diddy. All of these people partied with P. Diddy. It's coming out now for a reason. Yep. And I don't know if it's just to get hands on something that I kind of lean towards. It's going to be towards something to get dirt on Trump. That's just where my mind always goes at this point, because everything seems to be the narrative all the time. But if it actually is something to go ahead and take a swing at the industry or the establishment, it's going to be very, very interesting to see if this is maybe an actual reset. I'm not naive enough to put my money on that, but it would be nice to see.
It would. I agree. I'd like to see the whole thing burned to the ground. I mean, we've talked about, you know, why it's called Hollywood, and that it is like it or not, guys, it is a political arm. It is there for the influence. You know, go out and research. I'm not going to go into it here, but research where the term Hollywood comes from. Go back to the Celtic roots. So to watch a major political arm be exposed like this, and I'm saying exposed because it's not like we didn't know this was happening. We just didn't know it was happening to this degree.
Right.
And so
and everything and the government drives Hollywood. Don't ever think anything otherwise.
Yeah.
It's always been this way.
Exactly.
It has always been this way. Going back to the early 1900s, if you can get propaganda out, you can get eyeballs on a movie, the government's going to exploit the shit out of that. Stories left and right come from the CIA, come from the FBI, come from other government agencies. Hey, we really want to get a story. Let's get a movie out there about the Civil War. Can we do that? Can we pump up climate change? You see it all the time. So don't think for an instant that's not what's at play here.
Yeah, you want to do a wild deep dive. We won't do it here on the show, but look at nationalism levels here in the, I'm just talking specifically the United States. When nationalism starts to drop, go out and look which movies were released that next year. Go out and look. Born on the 4th of July, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about these extremely patriotic movies that come out when, nationalism, faith in the government starts to fall. They start releasing all these very extremely patriotic movies, and what do you know? The rates go back up. I mean, it's that simple, and it's also like you just feel like, God damn, I'm a cow in a line, and I'm being led to slaughter. Jesus Christ! What do we got next? What's next here? What are we doing?
Hola,
Hefe.
We have
Hefe, have you done a 23andMe DNA test to see how many kids you have out there?
Not gonna get me to go for that one.
Given your history.
Given my history. No, I've never done one of those. I'm curious to see, but I don't want it to come back and bite me.
Yeah, same. I mean, I was always curious too, and I thought about doing it, but I there was always something nagging in the back of my head, like, I don't want someone else knowing that much about me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So they put in a mucker.
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously you're here right at 10.
Yeah. That 4-ball I just did, I made $5.
Sweet.
Wow.
Not a baby.
Plus my hourly. So you count that, it's that's like
so what is that total?
That's like $13 total right there.
Fuck yeah.
Well, so what is that? Like $2.25 a ball?
What balls are you talking about?
Well, he said it was a 4-ball.
Oh yeah.
So 13.50 divided by 4. I don't know. Like it's probably more like 235.
It's like 3. Yeah. 3 something, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Per ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to feel good, dude. Listen, I'm getting nothing for my balls right now. Nothing.
Well, that reminds me of how's it going? Good. That reminds me I actually looked into selling my sperm a couple years ago just to get my, more hepes out there.
Well, of course, given your history, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they shut that shit down at 40 years old. They don't want your sperm anymore.
What?
Yep.
Dude, I was relying on that for my retirement plan.
Dude, I told him, you know who you're dealing with here? You're turning me down?
Yeah. Do you know who I am? Look at this physical specimen.
Hello?
Dude, I was going to, like, I was kind of doing the calculations, like, what's the limit? And it was, like 3 times a week or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but if I have an alias, now I'm up to 6 times a week.
Boom. And you can supply 6 times a week.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I masturbate 6 times a day. So that's a tiny fraction.
This is the perfect pivot to what Putin wants you guys to do.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
So
this is amazing.
Putin encourages Russians to have sex at work amid falling birth rate.
Wow.
I
like
love
conjugal
this.
visits at work.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, dude, I have an office. I got a blinds and everything. I mean, that's perfect.
You have a couch?
I will. Are you kidding me?
Fits his casting room,
dude. Yeah, exactly. I'm on it.
Go ahead and have a seat.
But this is amazing, though. They're yeah, just sit down on this. Women aged 18 to 40 in Moscow have been encouraged to undergo free fertility assessments to evaluate their reproductive health. They're even talking about giving £8,500 for giving birth to their first child. They're looking for at least, this is straight from Putin. You should start giving birth at 19 or 20 years old. Then statistically, the family will be able to have 3 or 4 or more children. This is fantastic, and they want you to bang at work. And I just want to know, do you guys have beds at either your work? I mean, you're gonna have to put in a couch, which is fine. That'll be your insemination couch.
Dude. Actually, my workplace is so culturally appropriate. I guess I'll use that term because I wouldn't say we're woke, but we have it's called a family room, and I think it was intended mostly for staff members who were breastfeeding.
Right.
They could take their kid in there, but it's actually a fairly sized room. There's a couch, a couple of chairs in there. It could easily be turned into a fucking sex den. I mean, no one uses it right now.
Yeah, this is
nobody.
This is perfect because I actually give free fertility tests now. So
do you?
Yeah, I'm licensed.
Okay.
The day job, we got exam tables, and as far as here at the casino, I'll buy a van. I mean, I'll make this work.
I'm picturing your old carpet cleaning van, but it's completely stripped, and it just says Hefe's Sex Clinic on it.
For free.
And are you testing for fertility by actually just having sex with them and see what happens?
All right. Well, we'll let you. We'll know the results in about a month. Talk to you later.
You're fertile. You're now pregnant.
Shouldn't I get your number or something? Nope.
We're not. Not at all.
This is a test. It's a test.
You never saw me. You never met me.
Yep.
Oh God.
Jesus. So your next vehicle is going to be a white panel van.
Oh yeah.
And
no windows.
It's just going to say Hefe's Sex Clinic on the side.
Spray paint.
What? Yeah. It's.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, allow me, dude. I have some stencils. I'll put that on there for you.
Please do.
Oh shit.
I was worried about this.
Here's the thing is like there's like a darker underbelly of this, which is the reason he's doing this is because population collapse is coming for Russia for sure. China's already in it.
Yep.
Japan's in it. And yeah, it's coming for us Africa in the next 10 years. Well, yeah, right. Exactly. Africa, those people are fucking having 12 kids apiece. But yeah, there's a certain number of people of kids that you need to have per couple. Or you start to have a population collapse, which is economically important. And so I mean, it's really funny to joke about, but there's like a dark underbelly of this. It's like, shit, we're looking at a pretty major population collapse here in the next 20 years.
Well, it's starting to get serious though, too. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't start seeing birthing camps at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely could in Russia, China, North Korea. North Korea, by the way, one of the reasons that they are I wouldn't even call them a third world country. They're like a fourth world country at this point. They barely have running electricity. One of the reasons is they had a huge population collapse in the 80s and no one saw it coming. And when it happened, now they have they have no workforce. Nobody who knows anything from the past. Nobody in our age group left. There's very few people. And so they're kind of doing the same thing. Like, fuck your neighbor, fuck everybody, because we need kids.
Wow. You don't really hear about it too much. You hear more about too much population,
Right.
Like you said, in some of those countries, they got 12 kids and shit like that. Did you guys you made me think of that one the one video you guys we saw. I don't know if you shared it with I'm sure you shared it with the insiders, but that one dude is talking about bringing people to America to have a better life, and he had like the gumball set up.
Right.
That was a really interesting little clip. That
was
the visual really telling. It was really great.
Well, it's really telling, and then also when you think about it, is that one of his main points was that all these countries think that you can go ahead and bring in 20 million people, and you can go ahead and take that as a carbon write-off. Mm-hmm. So what a fucking scam that is. We all know that you're not doing it for that, but that's the underlying reason. Really? No.
Yeah, well, that's the way to make it.
You need cheap labor. That's what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. So how was the show tonight?
I mean, I think it's been a banger. And not just not us, not the people talking, but just the news stories that we've had to pick from and to attack. They've actually lent themselves to a lot of fun. Serious topics like, P. Diddy was like actually trafficking children, but also he called his parties freak offs. So we've had some fun, just with these kind of serious topics, but kind of putting them in a less serious light. And also we really didn't have to talk about politics too much. I mean, yes, there are political machinations behind pretty much everything we saw this week, but we didn't have to get into, Trump versus asshole, whatever her name is, Kamala. I'm gonna refer to her as asshole from now on. But we didn't have to get into that. It was more about like, look at all the shit that's happening like beneath the surface, where you don't see the creepy, dark, crawly things under the ocean. So it's been fun.
And who's connected to it, right? Yeah. Because that's been the underlying theme is it's all corrupt. It's all perverse. It's all corrupt. It's just and it's the narrative driving deception to make sure that you are not going to keep your eyes on what needs to be watched.
Yep.
You think P. Diddy, he had to have used the phrase "get your freak on at the freak off"?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure every night. If he was smart.
Which he clearly is.
Yeah, right. And one of the things that is kind of incredible about all this, I touched on it a little bit with in ancient Rome, sexual deviancy was used as a political tool. How far have we come as a species technologically? We've allegedly flown, out into space and flown to the moon, and we have, amazing machines that can, go Mach, 3 easily. Jets can go Mach 3, fighter jets, and then we have spacecraft that can go Mach 40 or whatever it is. We've done all these amazing things. We built these amazing structures. But at the end of the day, when the push comes to shove, we are all ruled by our genitals. Like you could easily be influenced by what your dick wants, whether that be a guy and now you're shunned for being gay, or whether it be, multiple women and now you're shunned for being an infidel or not infidel, that you have infidelity in your marriage, that you're not a good Christian man or whatever. Like either way, you can be influenced and led about. And so like when you put it in that context, like politics is really just about sex and about our base needs, our carnal
power.
needs. Yeah. But power through sex. which is what I've always argued. Sex is power. Sex is violence. Sex is power. It always boils down to that. It doesn't matter where you get to. I mean, even if you're not into that kink, BDSM is a thing for a reason. People like to be dominated and other people like to dominate. And that's just, we're still fucking chimps, dude, running around the forest. That's how it works.
With that, what beer are you taking to bed, Fitz?
Which beer am I going to fucking dominate as my bitch?
Absolutely.
Dude, I'm absolutely, again, props to Spider City. Those ladies are doing it 100% correct. Good on you. I can't wait to see future offerings. But for my taste buds, for my leanings, you can't hold a candle to this Ex Novo. I'm literally about halfway through this beer, dude. I mean, it's been an hour. I am sipping this thing because I don't want it to end. It's not because I'm afraid of it. It's because I don't want it to end. It is so good. I have not had a beer that grounds me like this in a long time. Good. I mean, I really feel like I'm achieving some level of zen here. Great.
I gotta go, guys. We'll see you later.
All right.
Thanks,
brother.
F8. Later. And also, again, just the tie-in with Edgar Allan Poe. Maybe I've got some emotional, investment in this beer too. But really, really well done. It's cool when you pull up the website. I had no idea that they've been doing this beer for a couple of years. This might be one of those seasonal things where I just make sure I get the Nevermore every year if they're going to keep continuing it, because not only is it fantastic, but I think it's going to be one of those that they do a little something different each year, and that's just fun. So
good.
Yeah, fantastic. Right, I'm taking the Ex Novo to bed. She's the deep dark secret that no one wants to talk about, but that you'll never forget. So, how about you?
Oh, Toxic Earth, hands down.
Yeah.
Just an absolute beast of a double IPA, but it was a sweet double IPA too. It was full, great mouthfeel, just enjoyable from the first drink to the last. Towards the end, I really wanted to finish this beer because I wanted all of it. That was fun. That was exciting.
Nice. Nice.
Big fan. I'm going to have to try and find more of Abomination Brewing. I'm hoping to get more out here. That was a hell of a first one. So I'm super stoked. All right. Nice. Big thank you to Beard of Liberty, Elle, Lisa, Aaron, Moxie, who dropped in for a little bit. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for supporting us. Chat every week is fantastic. It's funny. You guys are posting some fantastic content too. Some stuff we already have, but there's always that one thing you're like, I need to go research that more. So thank you so much for dropping stuff in there. It absolutely means the world.
Hey,
yeah.
Also, just my last toast of the night, and I know that you'll raise a glass, and
yeah,
I meant to do this while Hefe was here too, but Al McCoy, who many of you don't know anything about, but Al McCoy was the voice of the Phoenix Suns from, I believe, 1973.
Yep.
To very recently. He passed away today. He's somebody who was literally part of my childhood, helped raise me as a man. Because along with commentating on basketball, he also had his gems that he would drop. And so Al McCoy, last cheers goes to you. Rest in peace. See you someday.
Cheers. At whiskey_hell on X, whiskeyhellpod.com is the website. Check us out there. I'm Steve McShane.
I'm Fitz.
Think critically.
Act goddamn accordingly.
We'll talk to you soon.